Hey everybody, welcome to the Montessori Monster. Let's do a little nature study. So I'm going to stay in one spot and see what I can find right here within about 6 feet, see if I can show you anything. So I'm standing in a creek bed. This is actually behind my house and it's pretty dry. Even though we've had some rain, this creek bed tends to be dry later in the season. Right now it's early fall actually, and there is a lot of damp rocks laying around in this creek bed, but no standing water. Most of the rocks here most of it's kind of a sandstone. There's a deposit of clay right around the corner a little bit, and different types of sandstone and limestone pretty much line this creek bed. But I like to sometimes turn over rocks a little bit. Now it's pretty late in the year to find too much. You're not going to normally find a salamander or something, for example. But you can find, whoop, there goes a millipede. Yeah, you can find things, but because it's dry and there's no standing water, there's only certain things that you'll find, mostly invertebrates. So well, there's some fossils in this one. I don't know if that would show up. Probably not too well. So it's a great opportunity to talk to children about what's the difference between a vertebrate and an invertebrate. These are the kind of basic lessons that probably all humans should know, and a lot don't. As you look around and listen and explore, just classify every animal as vertebrate or invertebrate. I hear birds. I don't know if you can. Oh, I just heard a mosquito by my ear. A bird, vertebrate, has bones. Mosquito, invertebrate, does not have bones. I hear a lot of insects. I hear crickets. You might be able to hear them too. Invertebrates. So, that might seem fairly basic to you as an adult, but really for children, that's a great way to start looking at the world. They love animals and they'd probably like to learn about that. And then you can get into more of classification if you want to. Oh, this one has definite fossils, crinoids. Where I live, these fossils are Mississippian in age, so I don't know, maybe 220 million years old or so. And we're in Indiana, in the United States. But back then, in the Mississippian time, it was a shallow sea. There were sharks here. You could actually find you can find shark teeth here in this creek bed. I have never found any, but I found a lot of aquatic fossils, for sure. Mostly crinoids. That's a fossil, but I can't tell what. I've also found blastoids. And a lot of sort of trace fossils, what they call trace fossils. But back to the current living world, there are also a lot of seeds and nuts all over right now. So, lots of different nuts and seeds to explore. I really like the Seek app, SEEK. I also use the Merlin app for bird identification. But there's great apps that you don't have to pay anything for the basic service that you need. And you can identify a lot of these things that you see out in nature. That's what I'm trying to do. Is I do that just for myself, but also whenever I'm with children, we're doing. Now, sometimes it's good to turn off the phones and all the apps and just enjoy nature. So I'm walking down the creek bed a bit. I do see a couple little signs of humans in here. I just saw a little broken glass. Hard to get away from that sometimes. See a lot of fungi on a log up ahead. If your child's younger and they're, if they're like 3 or 4 or 5, talk about the change of seasons. How does it look different when the seasons change, if the seasons do change where you live. Indiana, Hawaii, a couple places in the world are famous for these. You know what this is? I don't think I'm going to say in the video. I think I'll probably put it under the comments down below, or you all can try to guess what this is, and I will say the answer. Now, if you're from Indiana or the Midwest of the United States, you're going to probably know it right away. So if you live amongst these, you know them pretty easily. Let me see what else I can find. There's still a fair amount of green vegetation. This will be quite different in 2 weeks or so. It'll be all the leaves will be falling down. Various rocks everywhere, mostly the sandstone. Okay, here we go. Escaping. I don't know if my phone will pick this up too well. Not a very big example of this, but let's see if I can hold it up. Right there is a crinoid. Got a hole right through it. A crinoid is a pileated woodpecker just went over. I don't know if you could hear that. A crinoid is an echinoderm. Echinoderms are interesting because they have a symmetry that is aligned by multiples of 5, like a sea star. By the way, there is no starfish anymore. The name was changed to sea star. Sea urchins. And a crinoid is, well, this is a fossilized version of one. That picture's not great, but hopefully you can see there's a hole through it. And they were actually animals, even though sometimes people call them sea lilies. And they're super abundant where I'm at. Another sign that this was underwater. I didn't know this until recently, but there are actually living species within that genus. There are living sea lilies on the planet. In fact, some even can swim around. Traditionally, during the Mississippian time, they were sort of attached to the sea floor. But there are some of them today that can actually swim around in the ocean. You can look that up on YouTube. It's pretty interesting to watch. They look like they're plants swimming around. So that's kind of cool. I found horn coral in here. Maybe a couple kinds of coral in these creek beds too. So there's something. I'm seeing a lot of mosquitoes now. I didn't at first, but they've found me. So don't be afraid to take it slow with children. Find a spot that has a lot to look at, and slow down. Just let them look at things, explore, be in no rush to get anywhere or cover a certain amount of land or anything like that. Be still, listen, watch, smell. Smells are quite rich right now. Smells like a composting pile pretty much out here. So the more time you spend out in the woods and nature, exploring and just looking around and teaching yourself things, the stronger you'll get with it. And for children, it's the same way, of course. They'll just, if they do this from a young age and spend a lot of time out in the woods and sometimes just enjoying it, being in the woods, but often being a scientist and trying to learn about all the things that they find. It's basically a bottomless pit of possibilities. It's you're never going to know all of it, which is both humbling and also very exciting. I learn new things every time I go out, and I go out almost every day. So this is kind of the end of our first little nature exploration. It's mostly me talking out in the woods and seeing a little bit of what I could find. If If you like this kind of content, please let me know. I have to know whether you like it or not. It doesn't hurt my feelings if you don't. If you do, I would be happy to do a lot. Try to leave some likes and subscribe and leave comments and stuff like that. Tell me what you think this thing is. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for all the support.